What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14, Episode 14. So let's fast forward to Kingston, Jamaica. Sonya has taken everybody to Kingston because that's where they're going to be having the race, and I guess that's where they're going to be seeing the track that either Sonya ran on during the Olympics or the track that she trained on for the Olympics. I'm not sure exactly which. So we're in Kingston. Everybody's there. Kenya arrives 2 hours late because when they left the hotel to come to Kingston, everybody was on the bus ready to go, but Kenya was lollygagging in her hotel, being a drama queen. Trying to get all the attention that she can possibly get. She was on the balcony, enjoying the view while people were waiting for her downstairs, getting ready for this 2 hour trip. But I digress. So now we're in Kingston, Jamaica. Kenya shows up late. Sonya takes this opportunity to pull Kenya to the side and let her know, like, you can't be showing up late to all of these events. I need you to be punctual. And Kenya starts talking about little Brooklyn, how Brooklyn doesn't want to see her dad. So she blames everything on Mark, the divorce, and all this stuff that she's going through with her ex-husband. And Sonya says in her confessional, I noticed that every time that she tried to call Kenya out on something, she starts bringing up Mark and her divorce and whatever she's going through with him, and she's basically just using it as an excuse to try to get a pass for her wrongdoing. So Kenya, we're on to you. You need to grow up, become an adult woman and deal with these issues head on and not just, drag Mark up as your excuse of why you can't do better. So Marla gets on the bus and she has an opportunity to talk to Candy, and she tries to apologize to Candy, but Candy completely shuts it down. So Candy's like, you know what, you can keep your sorries, don't talk to me, leave me alone, I'm not bothering you, don't bother me. So Candy is still extremely hurt by the things that Marlo said. Candy had told Manetta that even though she had to step in and call Marlo out for her hypocrisy at the dinner, getting involved with Drew and Ralph and what they're doing with their child, but she has issues going on with her nephews. It still was not an excuse for Marlo to go as hard as she did on on Candy and her marriage, and dragging Todd into it and saying some really hurtful things to Todd or about Todd, saying that Todd called Candy a country bumpkin and all this other stuff. So I don't understand why, as long as Candy has worked with Marlo, why she still lets the things that Marlo say affect her. Because, truth be told, everybody knows how Marlo operates. She hits below the belt. And she hits below the belt because she has a lot of pain and hurt inside of her that she hasn't been able to deal with. So she lashes out at people. You can be calling her out on something so simple as, oh, Marlo, you're supposed to use your salad fork and not your dinner fork for the salad. And she's going to turn around and she's going to talk about your mother, talk about your father, talk about your dead grandmother, bring up your kids, your husband. That's just how she is. She's a very mean and nasty person whenever she feels like she's being attacked. So, Candy, you know this. You know how she operates. Number one, you should have just ignored her. Number two, if you didn't want to ignore her and you wanted to go toe to toe with her, you should have just let the words that she say just slide or roll right off your back, because you know how she is. No one puts any weight in the things that Marlo says because Marlo is just lashing out of anger, out of pain, out of whatever. So, if you know how she operates, don't let it affect you. My dad always told me, if the things that people say about you, the negative things that people say about you, are not true, why are you going to give it any weight? Why are you going to give it any energy? If you know what the truth is of who you are and what you have and what you are and where you're going in life, then don't worry about what other people say, because people are always going to say something. Now, the things that Marlo has said to Candy, I don't think is any different from the things that people have said to Candy online. So, you know what kind of husband you have, you know what kind of marriage you have, you know who you are, you know who Todd is, and if it's none of the things that Marlo is saying, don't worry about it. Nobody's taking Marlo seriously anyway. So I don't care that she didn't want to accept her apology. I don't care about that. I don't care that she wanted to go toe to toe with Marlo. What bothered me about Candy is that she allowed the things that Marlo said, which had no truth in them at all, she allowed those things to really, truly affect her, when I felt like Candy had thicker skin than that. But I digress. So now they're at the races. They're at the track. And first up, and the only people that raced were Marlo and Drew. So they did their race, and it was really, really close. I was surprised that Drew's little short legs were able to keep up with Marlo, but it was a very close race, but they ended up giving it to Marlo. So after they were done running, after they were done racing, after they were done going, doing that competition, after all of that, when Drew was supposed to be chilling and relaxing and bringing her heart rate down, she ends up breaking her foot. I don't know what she was trying to do, what she tripped on, or how she ended up falling, but she ended up breaking her foot. So when the Minister of Sports came, the Minister of Sports couldn't do what she intended to do because she was trying to get an ambulance for Drew and get her to the best hospital in Kingston because clumsy Drew, broke her damn foot after she was done racing. Moving on from that. So now we are at the iFit video shoot because Sonya had told everybody when they were still at the races that she was going to have the iFit video shoot the following morning, and anybody who wants to come is more than welcome to show up at the video shoot. So it wasn't mandatory. So she wasn't going to be making arrangements for everybody to have transportation there. It was just one of those things like, hey, this is where I'm going to be. If you want to be there, just show on up. So Marlo showed up, and Marlo tells us that, she did what she was supposed to do. She got her own transportation to the video shoot. She got up early enough, made her transportation arrangements, and she was able to meet up with Sonya at the shoot. When they're doing that, Kenya, Sheree, and Moneta are on a catamaran having the time of their life on the catamaran. So on the catamaran, Sheree tells them that she's putting together, get this y'all, a fashion presentation. She doesn't even want to call it a fashion show because she says that she doesn't want to build up people's expectation of seeing an actual fashion show just in case not enough pieces show up. And I'm thinking to myself, Sheree, why do you set yourself up to fail? Why do you already see yourself as a loser before you're even done with the damn project? You should have been like, I'm having a damn fashion show. And I understand what happened years ago. She had a fashion show. It was a fashion show with no fashion. So all she had was some cardboard cutouts. But you learned from that, right? Do you remember what your mistakes were? Are you able to... I don't understand. You're the one that's planning this event. Okay. No one is putting this event on you. You're planning this event. So as you're planning this event, aren't you trying to make sure that you have everything together? It may not be the most renovative fashion or the kind of fashion that you really see yourself putting out there. But if it can give people an idea of what you're about to present, girl, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to compare it to, Chanel or I don't know, Karl Lagerfeld or whoever. You don't have to compare it to any of that. You're going to do your own thing. Show your own presentation. If it's a 30-minute little fashion show, you show about 5 to 10 pieces, boom, you're done. You did what you had to do. But for you to be like, oh, I'm not going to call it a fashion show. I'm going to call it a fashion presentation just in case not enough pieces show up. It's like you're already setting yourself up for failure, and you're already getting inside your head where you're feeling like you're not going to be able to succeed. You're not going to be able to pull this through. Think positive, have confidence in yourself, and just be like, yeah, I'm doing a fashion show. This is what I'm going to have. And you work with your people to get done what needs to be done. Have confidence in yourself, Sheree. So anyways, that's what she tells the ladies on the catamaran. So then on their way to dinner, they're walking to the restaurant. Sheree is walking with Sonya, and she actually accuses Sonya of uninviting her to the iFit video shoot. She tells Sonya, I came down to the lobby at the allotted time. Then they show the clip. She wasn't at the lobby. She was at the beach, but it didn't matter because Sonya wasn't, rounding everybody up to go. It was just get there however you can get there. So she says, I woke up on time and I was waiting for you at the lobby and you never showed up and I was trying to call you. And by the way, Sonya lost her phone. So anybody who was trying to call her, she got no calls. So she was like, were you trying to uninvite me? And Sonya was like, no, I would never uninvite you. And I lost my phone, so I couldn't, respond to anybody. And you could just could have gone there however way you wanted to get there. Like, it wasn't something that was mandatory. Like, okay, this is the event for the day. I'm rounding everybody together. We're all getting on the bus at 8. It wasn't like that. So she was very loosey goosey about the plans. Like, hey, if you want to show up, show up. If you don't have to. It's whatever. So that was weird. So during the dinner begins, and somebody asked Ralph, I think it was Sheree, somebody asked Ralph about his book. So he decides to get up and read an excerpt from the book, which he does. And whatever he read, everybody liked it. Drew got emotional. So as they're sitting down talking about Ralph's book and what it's all about and blah, 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 on the other end of the table, Sheree and Kenya are talking about Sonia for not putting in more of an effort to check in on them, to figure out if they were coming to that iFit video shoot, to see what was going on with them. So because they're getting kind of loud, the attention was drawn to them. And so Kenya said that she was told that, I forgot exactly what she said, but she called out Sonia for not checking in on them. And Sonia was like, okay, I was working. I didn't have time to call anybody to be like, hey, what are y'all doing? How are y'all? Are you going to come to the iFit video shoot? And Sonia even said, my understanding was that y'all were going to be on the catamaran. So I didn't expect y'all to show up at the video shoot. So, Sonia says in her confessional that they should have got there the same way that Kenya made it to the track, to Kingston. She got a taxi cab. If you really wanted to be there, you would have found a way to get there. You found your way how to get to Kingston. Whatever way you did that, that's the way that you're going to use to get to the video shoot. So then while they're going back and forth, it's Kenya and Sheree on one side, Sonia on the other side trying to defend herself. It wasn't a big deal to Sonia, I don't think, whether or not they came to the video shoot, because this was work. This was not fun. It was work. And maybe they would not have had fun if they went to the video shoot and had to sit around for hours while they're doing take after take after take for this commercial. So it wasn't a big deal to Sonia if they came or not. So they're going back and forth. The two ladies on this side, Sonia on this side, and Ross, Sonia's husband, got so frustrated. He stood up and he said, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't F with my wife. I don't roll like that. And I thought he was going to say more, but then he expeditiously sat right back down. That's all he had to say. I mean, that was really all that he had to say, because he said more than enough when he said that. And, this always happens with the new housewife. It's like they signed up for this show, right? And I guess they don't pre-warn their husbands to be like, hey, it's going to get really, really catty. It's going to get really dirty. Don't worry about me. I can hold my own. You don't have to come and rescue me, because it happens a lot with the newbies. Their husbands get really affected by how the other women are attacking their new wife, their freshman wife, and they feel the need to step in. And it's like, okay, you'll learn. Soon enough, you'll learn. I understand you're new, Ross. I understand you're brand new to all of this, but you're going to learn. If you and Sonya are going to stay married long enough, you're going to learn that when the women get into it, the men kind of just step aside and, kind of just let the women handle it. Which is what also Todd should have done. And Todd has been around long enough to know that. Let Candy handle her own fights. But anyways, so we'll see how that goes. But when I saw him stand up like that, I thought it was really funny, because it reminded me of Married to Medicine, when Contessa and Scott were brand new. And Contessa, she was getting into it with the women on a boat. And Scott felt so bad for his wife, he had to step in and tell the other women to leave his wife alone. But that's just the name of the game. These husbands, you're going to have to pre-warn them. They have to understand. This is what makes the show. This is what helps you come back another season, if you can handle it. This is what the show is all about. So the husbands can't always be there to rescue their wives. So Ross, it's perfectly okay. They're not going to bite her. They're not going to kill her. She's fine. And I think Sonia can hold her own. But that was really funny. Anyway, that's my review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.